What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of Brand Altitude. And today, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to be talking. It's myself and John Gross here. And if you're watching on video, you're in for a special treat today. I haven't shaved in 3 weeks. I'm trying to catch up to Jono. So make sure you're on video because you're going to see what his looks like after 2 days. So, Jono, why don't you give us a little introduction for today?
Yeah, I did shave, and it feels good to get back to just the stash. We're calling this one episode 3 because Spotify didn't let us do half episodes. So we were going to do episode 1.5. Didn't happen. So episode 1.5 is technically episode 2. Now here we are, episode 3 in the month of August.
Yeah, 1.5 sounded a lot more fun, though. So Spotify, figure it out. Stop making it. Let us do half episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun. We were going to transition from the team to a client, but then realistically, like me and John got pretty busy with a lot of stuff going on at True Mountain. And then I'm like, we just got to jump and put a podcast out there and just tell everybody what we have going on, because there's definitely some bigger projects that we have.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot. I guess we can just give people an update on True Mountain day to day. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So what we've been kind of pivoting, we've talked about it in a previous episode, is we've done a lot with the service industry. So we do a lot with roofers, a lot with deck builders, a lot with landscapers. Somebody that's offering a service to generally a general contractor almost. And some of those are people with 2 people on the team. Some of them have 20 to 30. I mean, the sizes are all over the place. But recently, we've been kind of like been approached by a lot of different businesses that are foundations, which has been really cool. And a lot of people that have been kind of working on the basis of they take grant money and then they distribute that money to people that are basically applying for it. So that's been a different kind of pivot for us, but we're still able to make these really cool sites. It's been an interesting thing, especially with the climate of the political climate later that's been going on, is like these grant people are still going hard, but they're also like not sure. And I think it says a lot about their business models too. It's like, look, if they don't keep their pace up, who knows what's going to happen? They're done for. So they're still pushing their marketing, assuming everything's going smooth. And I think that goes for how everybody should really treat it in general. Like, don't just let off just because you're unsure. If anything, double down to make sure you look legitimate. It's been interesting. The grant stuff's crazy. I don't know what your thoughts were on it.
Honestly, my thoughts are like a lot of like people in the service industry, they do their marketing all based on profit and how many jobs they sold. And like with people in that space, that's kind of like guaranteed money coming in. That's how it's been for like the last couple of years. Now it's kind of like a gray area of how much money is going to come in, but it's just so much different to work with people in the service industry that sell jobs, and then this is how much profit they have versus this is my budget from a grant and I need to spend this money. It's just a completely different conversation.
Yeah, and the thing with them is they need to almost show what they're spending on too. So the websites are great. So if you got a foundation that's taking grant money and you need help proving that you're utilizing it correctly, we are the people. We've got it figured out. We've got a blueprint for you. So I think that's exciting. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a different approach, like you said, with service-based websites that we love to do. It's all about generating leads. The whole point of the website is to eventually get it to rank organically. When somebody visits the website, there's call to actions. It explains the person. It gets the contacts information as smooth as possible. With these more grant-based businesses and associations, it's really just explaining like the good that they're doing and making sure it's like publicly aware and available, which I think is awesome. I think it's good that they're doing that. I mean, it's tax dollars going to work. It's nice to be able to track it down.
Yeah, and the one thing we're helping a client with that came forward to us, a potential client, is, they get grant money and they have a board where everything has to get approved. And our biggest thing was, what can we do to help you guys save time so you guys could start working on, bigger projects? And like a perfect example was their current website right now it's a form to do a membership that is annual. And realistically, they have to reach out every single year to get this renewal because the payment portal isn't done the right way. And we're like, okay, what if we build you a portal that bills these people annually? Then you don't have to go around like chasing payments. So a lot of these like nonprofits, they have donate options And it's like, what is the best way to do that so your team can be more focused on the projects that you're doing versus chasing around membership dues?
Yeah, and we make it super easy. I mean, we integrate with Stripe processor for all of our payment things, unless there's some reason we shouldn't. But we love Stripe. Stripe's been great for all of our clients. It's easy to sign up for. And then for nonprofits, they get discounted rates as well. Obviously, they have to do a different application process, but I mean, they're saving money. It's good for everybody involved. And it integrates to our sites in a few clicks, whether it's to a form where they're subscribing or whether it's to an e-commerce style product or donate button. Any of that's kind of directly involved with Stripe. So makes it easy. The dashboard's great. You get an app so you can see all that stuff too. So if you ever want to set up a site like that and you want to monitor all the money coming in and out and then automate it, we can definitely make that happen. I think automating it's so important, especially for like memberships. Having to not have someone manually send an invoice every 12 months is just obviously a no-brainer. Why would you want to track it and then you forget about it, then it's late? If you could just automate all this stuff, let people, cancel or not cancel, it's up to you. Maybe that's the only thing you do manage. And then just let the money just keep coming in. Why would you do anything different? It's hands off.
If you think about it, they could have somebody specifically in their company on payroll and their only job is like accounts payable, renewal of memberships. And once you have that set up to be automated, you could just call those clients and say, hey, how are you doing? Did you get these benefits? Instead of being like, hey, it's been a year. We need to get your payment again to renew. It creates a whole dynamic of the relationship that you have with your client now versus paying an employee just to chase payments.
Yeah. And I mean, we could even go deeper to discuss there's cool things you can do once the site's kind of integrated with different features. So a lot of, third-party tools can be integrated. We love Zapier. If you're not familiar with Zapier, it's an automation tool. It's like maybe $30 to $50 a month. It allows you to take different things, like a website form gets submitted, and then Zapier zaps. Essentially, it triggers something else to happen. So if a website form is submitted, it'll send that person's information into your MailChimp, which is a third-party email tool. In this instance, it could be used in a really great way where if somebody subscribes for your foundation, then it takes that user, sends you the email, maybe sends you a text message, and then sends them a text message saying, hey, thanks for joining. Here's how we get started. Here's how you can help. And then another layer could be it takes that person, adds them to MailChimp, and now all of a sudden they're in your automated marketing campaign. So you could, on MailChimp, set up a 12-month email campaign with cool information. But now it's so much more hands-off. You're kind of taking this marketing role that used to be very manual, 5-10 years ago, and you're just going to basically say, once they're in our system, send them some cool stuff every month, keep them aware, so that at the end of the 12 months, they're not like, I really don't know what I got. I donated, but I kind of was just there type deal. So now they know how to keep up to date with you. And honestly, I would assume that they would turn into more donations as well because they're aware. I think automating stuff is just so important, and that's, starts with the first part of automating payments, and then how do we automate them into our marketing campaigns? How do we automate a conversation with them with an SMS text? And Zapier for us has been the perfect tool for all of that. It integrates with everything we do, which is even better. Like for us internally, I mean, we have an insane Zap that for onboarding, you have a Zap to HubSpot. I don't even know what's going on with that. There's a billion things.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought because once you really set up that first trigger of automation, you could kind of control the whole customer experience after that. So it's really just like taking the step into automation and then what do you want to fire next? What do you want to fire next? And if there's no automation set up, you're never going to have all these triggers and processes. You need to make sure the first trigger is somebody signs up and then they go into the first automation. Then from there, you can control the entire experience and all they have to do is sign up and you just have to build that path that all these clients are going to go down.
Yeah. And if you're a service-based company, you have to be automating everything, everything that you can. So if you're using a website with us, you should be connecting it to your CRM and automating text messages the second a flow comes through. Because at the end of the day, our websites are great. Any website in general is going to be where somebody lands to learn about you, what you do, what you offer, how can I get in touch with you. Now, after that, it's kind of like a mini salesperson. It's done its job, but somebody still needs to step in and start doing those additional touch points, which for us, our biggest thing is we want to send a text message to the owner, let them know they got a lead. Now that owner can integrate to their CRM to send a text message to them saying, hey, we got your information. We're going to get back to you in just a second. Maybe if you have additional questions, here's something else you can look at. And that just gives that person that extra peace of mind that, hey, like I reached out and I'm getting listened to. And then on top of that, they get thrown into marketing campaigns. I think service-based companies right now are just not utilizing automations in the right ways, I guess. They might be automating some stuff around, but they're never touching base with the customer or on the consumer side. And honestly, some of them, we have a lot of sites where we talk about it all the time. We're like, we do SMS notifications. We do it. And they just never even consider enabling it. Because I think if you can get in touch with a lead in general or somebody that might be donating and those other instances, the sooner you get in touch with them, the faster you get them into your ecosystem of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and that brings up a great example in my head. So my mom was looking up power washers in the area, and she filled out a form on 2 different power washers websites. One of them was our client Bart with Bluestream. And the second she filled out the form, she got an automated text message. They moved I'm pretty sure right into the pricing. It was so fast. And here my mom is, 24 hours later, she's got somebody who hasn't even followed up with her yet. And then she's got another person that has a quote in front of them. Like, it's an easy choice, especially with people in the service industry. They've kind of gotten a bad rap for follow up and, contractors never show up or things like that. So when somebody really works on the business and they're in the service industry and they can get that follow up to trigger so fast, the client is just ready to go at that point.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's really just about making the decision sooner than later. You don't want somebody to sit and then reach out to a bunch more people. I mean, you want them to be like, I've got my price. This is probably good enough. Let's just roll. Whether they're looking at a few or not, you don't want them to start quoting out everybody because they want to know that you're going to show up to the job quick and get it done quick. And that starts with the first contact. If you can't get back to them, then how are you even going to get there on time? So it's totally important. And shout out Bart. Bart's been a client of ours for, 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 years. We sat with him in our office and built his logo together on a big screen. And now he's got an awesome crew. They do a bunch of commercial work and residential work. And now they're doing even more than just power washing too.
Yeah, they're crushing it. And we've been trying to get him on the podcast, but I was kind of stupid. I reached out to him the week before 4th of July, and he was pretty swamped with trying to get everybody's patios ready for that holiday. And he's like, man, this is like, if somebody's in the power washing industry, leave them alone the week before Labor Day, the week before the 4th of July. Like, don't reach out to any of your power washer friends because they're busy.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, we are terrible at scheduling people. I'll give you like a 12-hour notice that we want to come have you on a podcast, and we don't really even think about busy schedules. We just assume that you could come into an office and hang out.
Yeah, that's true. Our main thing is if we get one podcast out a month, that's great. If we get it towards the beginning of the month, we are on track. So it's super cool. The next thing I want to touch base on is we just started a partnership with a company that has multiple locations. And as we talk about True Mountain, it's we started with marketing by doing business cards, logos, social media, all that stuff. And now we're kind of shifting to really like a web service company. So we've had a really large client come out with over 30 locations. Well, over 50 locations, probably 30 websites. And we pretty much got our biggest client this past month. And it's super cool because what they were looking for is just a website company that could handle all their web work and them just having one point of contact for 30 locations. The thing is with some of these big companies, we stay around longer than the actual person who's running the marketing. The marketing director might change a few times, but with using True Mountain, we essentially become the backbone of the website service. So if we're there long enough, we usually get introduced to the new marketing director, and then we're like, hey, we're True Mountain if you need to make web changes. And it's super cool that we have this huge client that has a lot of web needs, and now they will only have one point of contact.
Yeah, and that's why we set up our support the way we did as well. So, a lot of times, most marketing people, we'll say, or freelancers and small agencies are 2 people, 3 people at most. So if you need help on a website, you're contacting you or you're contacting me or whoever this third person is, which maybe it's just like hired help. And if I'm out of the office on vacation or we're both out, like last week we were on a golf trip, and now they don't even know who to get in contact with because we're busy and we have some lives outside of the office, then it's an issue. So what we did was we created our TrueMountainSupport.com, which is for all of our clients to access to request any changes they want for the website, just general things out there. And it sends that request into our system and the whole team gets it. So whoever's available just does it, which has been great for these multi-location groups or these big enterprise clients, because now they don't need to know like, all right, email John at True Mountain or whoever else. I can't remember their emails. Now it's just go to this site, fill this in, and it's going to get done. And it just makes it easier when we work with these bigger scale projects. And it's easier for everybody in general because like you're saying, people on the clients that we have, they're losing people, or somebody goes from marketing, maybe they go into a different industry now, or a different role. Maybe they're going in the field because they like it. And they're no longer the contact. So they have to like toss all these details back and forth. Now we've made it easier. It's just go here. And what it's also done is allowed us with our team internally to move people around where they grow from support to designer to developer, where maybe they're not as involved in there anymore. And that's fine. But now like it's not our client's issue to deal with that. Like we used to have a good example is Connor. He's our lead designer. Connor used to just get swamped with support tickets because he would work on the project and then people just assumed he was the point of contact until we finally moved everything to our portal. And Connor's like, okay, now I can focus back on designing websites. I'm not doing tickets. And that being said, if he's caught up and there is a ticket, he'll just do it. But people aren't talking to him directly, which has been really big for us. And even the fact that even if somebody on our team gets a support thing and they can't do it, they just forward it to support@truemountain.com. It's our email. And it does exactly what we just talked about anyways. So, setting that up helps us scale. I mean, we're still a small team, like 8 people, I think. We just hired a new copywriter, so that's really exciting. So we're still small, but we've got a way where you don't have to worry about who we need to be in touch with. It just gets done. And I think that was big for us to scale. Our support is like almost like the heart of our business, I think. It's so important. We encourage people to do website updates. I mean, I feel like you just heard a horror story about somebody who couldn't even update their website because they were scared of like getting billed or something. It happens often.
It happens all the time. We've had somebody reach out to us and mentioned, we've had the domain conversation. You always want to own your domain. And a marketing company ended up, buying their client's domain when it was available and tried to resell it to them. It's kind of crazy. But the one thing John really, he touched it's a great point that he mentioned is you might have a great relationship with somebody in the company, and that's who you want to reach out to make changes. But like perfect example, Connor starts doing design and you still want to reach out to Connor, but the support ticket might not be done as fast. So like if you always have this portal to go to True Mountain Support, you're just going to get whoever's in that position to do the tickets. It's
first available.
That's key.
And they all have access through our secure password sharing system. So everybody gets to get into your system. You don't have to worry about that. And it just makes it simple. I'm just really happy we've done it that way. And our support team's great. We've got Malik. He's pretty on top of all that stuff. And then we have Merrick, who kind of helps him out. Raul and Connor kind of jump in as needed, depending on the size of tasks, if they're overwhelmed. But honestly, like Malik kind of covers everything that needs to get done. And if he's not available, then Merrick jumps in there. And then if things are insane, which I don't think has happened in a couple of years, to be honest, then I get involved or we get whoever else is on the team. I mean, I'd make Carly get involved. She'd love it. So we'll teach everybody in our team how to help assist. But most support needs are pretty general. And if they're not, then that's a different conversation.
Do you want to touch base on like why it may be beneficial for a company that has multiple locations, multiple websites, like why it's kind of better for them to just have one web company instead of multiple?
Well, the biggest part is obviously your branding. You can keep your brand as close as possible across your locations. So there's still that standard, whether you're a parent company or a sub-sister company, whatever you want to call it, child company. You have that control and access to make sure how you guys brand yourselves as a unit kind of goes together. And you're saying the same services or same products in the same way, so that as you're integrating your sales teams across the board and you're training salespeople across multiple locations, they can go through the same training process. And that's what we're going to make sure gets set up. And then outside of that is obviously you can now, as a multi-location setup with multiple sites, every site can be optimized to that locality. So a lot of people want to bring all their locations into a location page in finger quotes and then say, this is our brand. But I think having the separate website is more beneficial for local SEO and growth. It's still good to have a location page as a top tier brand and then just sub out the links to your sub locations. So that you could have something just focusing on Northwest Indiana. You could have something just focusing on the Valley. You could have something just focusing in the general Phoenix area. You could have that and still control it. But when you have one big site, it becomes a lot more difficult with the way Google performs lately to prove that you are this local contractor, service, product, whatever. When you have that site that's only dedicated to it, you are the professional for that spot.
Yeah, it's like in my head, I'm thinking it's like the legs of an octopus. You know, the parent company is the body and the legs are touching all these local ranking.
Yeah, I think you can do it based on county almost, maybe like regional. But anything outside of that, I wouldn't combine anything more. Like you could almost get away, like Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, you could probably get one site with a few locations. You can probably pull that off. But when you're doing a bunch in Indiana,
multinational,
a bunch in Illinois, a bunch in Michigan, now suddenly you've broken apart all your chance to grow locally. And a lot of people forget, when you think local, like people aren't searching, and the reality is they're not searching best pizza in Grand Rapids, best roofer in Grand Rapids. Like, I'm just guessing off the top of my head, but I bet Grand Rapids has a term locally that people refer to it as in the area. Like out here, we're in Lake County. I'm in St. John. But when you look up something, you call it the region. Like that local the region term might be what your actual people living here are searching. And that's why it's so important for SEO is you need to know these localized terms and interact at that level for the website. And having those subsites for the different brands or locations allows you to optimize it for that. You can put those extra little keywords into the pages. So Google gives you that extra boost. And then honestly, like your average person living there searches it better. A lot of SEOs, when you hire at like a high level, will just give you copy with the town in it. And it's like good enough. And does it work? It's probably good. It's probably 50% better than what they had. But the reality is there's so much more that could be done to own into the county, own into the zone. What is it actually called?
Does your county or does your town have a nickname? That's really would be a great question.
And I mean, everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one
somewhere. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we do SEO copywriting onboarding forms and they fill in like the towns and then they put something. I'm like, what is this? And they're like, this is like all three of those. I'm like, oh, okay. So for like our content booster, we have an onboarding form where we ask like, where should we optimize these for, so that we can do the research. And we see that all the time. It's crazy. Florida's got a ton of them.
Yeah, there's so many.
I mean, Orlando's got a whole term for different sections.
Yep.
It's just nuts. I mean, that's a good example right there.
I'm thinking of so many in Colorado. Like Fort Collins, I think it's called like FOCO, you know? Like all this weird stuff. Or NOCO.
Yeah.
And OCO.
Northern
Colorado, you know? And that's really search terms.
Yeah, that's like the deeper version of it. And having those personalized sites allows that to happen, essentially. You could blog about it on a core site all day, but you can only blog so much before it kind of gets like kind of pointless at a localized level.
So you did mention we were out of the office. We were on a golf trip. Annual golf trip happens in August every year. But we also had the mayor's outing last 2 weeks ago. It was super cool. And I don't know how to get exactly into this, but pretty much we started going to trade shows and all of our giveaway items were cool things with True Mountain. This hat being one of them. We made golf tees. We made divot repair tools. We were just making swag that we would want to receive at a trade show, and it was all golf specific. The problem with that is that too many people were coming to our booth and they didn't care to talk to us about websites. They just wanted to buy our swag from us, and it was all giveaways. So we kind of made a pivot just because we were spending a lot. We spent a lot of money to go to trade shows. So we want to talk about websites. And we were like, okay, we need to like create a different company that doesn't, that makes swag. So we started Cutline Golf. Cutline Golf Goods. So now all of our hats, our tees, our golf towels, we created a brand for that we're having fun coming up with cool graphic design, but now kind of like offer services. So if a company needs swag, shirts, whatever they need, for their business, we essentially now have a service that could help companies make their own swag.
Yeah, it's just a passion project to have some more fun. We do so much of the same general website goals every day that it's just nice to step away from it for a second. So we partnered with some of our really close friends to do it. We raised money with some friends and family, and just kind of started it as its own kind of entity to have fun. And I've been basically sourcing suppliers throughout the world, along with Danny, and figuring out who's got the best products. It took us 6 months before we even launched something because we wanted good materials, whether it was the polo material, the way the polo got cut and sewn together, where the collars were, certain buttons on the collar. Like, we went so deep into it where it was pretty crazy. And now that's just kind of what we found that we like doing. So we're not just buying, a blank polo online and embroidering a logo on it. We're like customizing the actual fits of everything. And it kind of takes the creativity to an extra level. Like, I'm designing stuff on the computer that's really cool and fun and bright. And then we're also making sure it fits nicely. Or if it's a towel, the quality's nice. It cleans a club good. If it's a golf tee, like, what's the material of the golf tee? Is it bamboo or is it this compressed Japanese flower? Like, just crazy stuff like that. So a little passion project that's been coming to life, and we're having fun with the brand. We're a little slow on the marketing just because we're busy in general. But we're also like dealing with manufacturer craziness.
It's really not the focus.
Yeah.
But like now, it just makes our sword so much sharper, because now as we go into trade show season and we want to make, these polos for True Mountain. Mm-hmm. So there's like, in the past we just get shirts, we kind of get them embroidered. Now we have the ability to design the entire front of the shirt, the back of the shirt, where a pocket is, where the logo is. Now when we go to all these trade shows as True Mountain and we have these shirts that are designed specific for us, we're going to look like the coolest company out there.
Yeah, and it's so much more affordable. We were taking an OGO, a Nike, a FootJoy shirt, and then taking it to the embroidery shop, and they would put the logo on there. We were spending $90 to $100 for a team polo, and you buy 10 of those, you're $1,000 in. Now, our cost is like significantly lower, almost half of that, and we get a lot more, and it's fully custom. So it's like, it's a no-brainer. We're not stuck with the most basic stock Nike black polo with a logo, and it's just a lot more enjoyable. And then, we'll be able to offer it to people if that's what they're looking for. I got a bunch of friends and family who've got businesses, they want to do it. So we'll work with them and kind of dive into it. We'll probably have to have Danny and Q on and do a full podcast with them about it. I think that'd be fun. Because when the thing with that is it's different than what we do with marketing, kind of. Dealing with manufacturing and suppliers is like a whole nother world, especially from my end. Like, I have to plan designs that are going to launch in 14 weeks, we're talking totally a different quarter of the year, different weather. I'm designing in the heat, but it's for a winter drop. Like, the mental change is really weird. We have, to be honest, we got a quarter zip and a hoodie that's came in. I can't even market it because it's been 85 degrees every day. And I'm like, nobody's thinking about buying this while they're sweating outside. So it's like, it's different. We've always done a lot of, our marketing as True Mountain is to sell services. We don't really market like products. So for us, again, it's just a fun passion project that changes, it rewires everything and how you approach it. And you're thinking more margins, you're thinking more deliverable times, stocking inventory on the fly, upfronting it all. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's just so much different too, because all of this stuff like these polos and things like that, we've gone so deep into developing good stuff for, True Mountain when we brand any of this like golf goods as True Mountain. And it helps True Mountain stay a service company that builds websites. Like when people started thinking we were a swag company and they could buy True Mountain merch and all this stuff, it was like, yes, we made this, but this is not what we do.
Yeah.
You know?
And we hate using WooCommerce. So like we never do e-commerce sites. So we decided just to, I kind of built the site with Shopify for fun. And it was a good learning experience. Got to get better at Shopify. We've actually been having a lot of people ask about it now. And Shopify's been getting really powerful, to be honest. And it was just cool to kind of have fun with a project instead of, doing it with a very specific purpose and a goal. Now we were just like, well, yeah, this would be kind of fun to integrate this and make it pop up and spins all over the screen. And then also it auto does USPS and FedEx and then does the shipping from our warehouse. Like, cool.
I think that says a lot about us. Like we've really mastered web. We built the team, our process and everything. And here we are just like starting side projects just to explore new skills, learn Shopify better, work with manufacturers. How much can we customize designs? And it's like, I think that's what makes our web the best, is because we've already explored all these avenues. We're still developing web every day. We're learning and doing things, but now we're going into completely different areas to, what do they say? You have to do something for 10,000 hours to like be an expert, right? Or 1,000 hours. I don't know what it is.
It's something like a day. I don't know. It's like 21 days for a habit. And
No.
1,000 hours to be an expert.
To be an expert.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to web, you are well beyond that time, in building web. And now it's like, okay.
But that's with Beaver Builder.
Skills.
Now we're not doing Beaver Builder.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Take that article down. Not kidding. We've been testing new page builders even for our internal use for building websites, and we've used the same one since we started the company.
Yeah.
We actually found it because it was ADA compliant at the time, and it still is, but it was the best at the time. When we were building the Town of St. John's website, that's how we stumbled upon Beaver Builder. And it's been great. We've got, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of websites built with this system, but now we're looking into other tools that just go a little bit more developer friendly, a little faster. Right now we've been playing with Bricks a lot. I'm really happy with it, actually. There's another one that's coming out I was just telling you about.
Yeah.
It's even like another level of Bricks.
Of coding.
It's just very code intensive. And I don't know, it's just a little too much for what we need. Because we still like to give the access to our clients if they want to do changes. Bricks will be kind of a little more difficult for them. But what we did is we looked back and we found Beaver Builder was great for people that wanted to go in and do their own changes, edit some colors and pictures. The reality was only like 2% of our clients do that. So now we can have a little bit more powerful of a tool that's a little bit quicker for what we're doing. And then if the clients really need to get help, that's what our support's here for. That being said, if they want to try and do stuff, they can, but I wouldn't recommend it to them this time. They still can.
That's a whole other can of worms you just opened, because, we are exploring even new ways to build websites better. And, one of our guys on our team, Raul, he has been telling us for the last couple months, like, hey, we need to check this out. And the whole team came to the office. He did like a presentation on the screen, and here we are like digging into, even better ways to build websites.
Yeah, it's just improving. And the other thing is, we're going to be using Beaver Builder forever still, because we still have to support all of our clients. And there still might be an instance where we need to use it for a lot of sites, because there are clients that want their team to be integrated. So we're actually doing an article with Beaver Builder now. They've been awesome. They've upgraded a lot throughout the years.
Yeah.
We're just at a point where we just need something a little bit different for our core needs. So I'm pretty excited about it, about the transition. We have to know both of them regardless.
Yeah.
So
it's not like we're just like jumping ship. We still have a lot of websites running on Beaver Builder. We're still going to use it, but when we get new signups, we're going to say, hey, what's the best angle of attack for this?
Yep. And I think it's still slightly faster to build sites with Beaver Builder, but that could also just be what we're comfortable with type deal. Because like you're saying, like 1,000 hours to get a pro at something, I probably have maybe a couple hundred on Bricks right now. Versus Beaver Builder, I probably have like tens of thousands of hours. So it'll get faster down the road, but right now what we're accomplishing is really just lowering how much is happening on our servers, so the servers load quicker. lowering how much is being pulled in every time the site loads, so that goes faster, and really just utilizing it more for the speed side of things on the front end for the user. So we want to make sure sites are loading faster, a little cleaner, and then still allow us the tools to control the look and feel. That's easy. And do a couple more, things with Zapier, like we talked about earlier, which Brix has a lot of stuff they can do with.
Yeah, and these are all still like WordPress websites. It's just a different, we'll say, page builder, which is like a design tool. So we're still building WordPress websites. We're just kind of testing out a different builder. And
the reality is we could build any design on any platform. I could do the same look and feel with Wix if you really made me do it. It might take me a bit, but I'll find the spots to click. It's just a tool. This one just does a little bit more for us for our current time.
And it's different because touch base on the font sizing changing on mobile.
Yeah. So it allows us to do more variable rules or variable CSS and sizing. So what we can do is directly within the platform, we can set up some variables so that on a desktop, the font is 72 pixels or 7.2 rem. And then by the time it gets to mobile, maybe it's like 3.6 rem or 36 pixels. And what happens is throughout the responsiveness, as the screen adjusts, it'll have a calculation which lowers that font size as you're moving the screen. Whereas responsive in general, usually you say on desktop at a breakpoint, over 1200 pixels, it's going to be 72. Under 1200 down to 900 is 48. Under 900 to 700 is 36. And under that is, we'll just say 28. So as you hit those breakpoints, then it adjusts the size of the font. Now it'll just automatically do it in front of you, which keeps your designs a little more fluid, whatever you want to say. It just keeps it a little more similar throughout the devices. And you can do that in Beaver Builder. You just have to hard code it into the theme, which isn't an issue. It's just a lot of clicking for our team versus now I can click in one little section, change a number and move on. So again, it's possible in another builder, but this one allows us to do it a little bit quicker.
And that is the reason why you should not build your website if you are a business owner, because that is the level that we're looking at websites versus somebody just on GoDaddy or some Wix trying to build their own website. Like, we're doing things at such a high level, and that's why we started this podcast. There's so many details that we just go right over, and people don't see our internal conversations of like what we're actually talking about. They think we're just, trying to sell websites, but when it comes to the technical side, we're pretty deep.
Yeah, we're talking this morning. I got a Teams chat with Roland Connor right now, just talking about hover effects, and Brix allows us to control hover features very easily with a couple clicks with Brix 2.0. So I could enable hover, go to a button, and then make sure that when you hover over that button, the background color changes to whatever I want it to be. Or if it's an image, I can make it so that when you hover on the image, I can change colors of the image. I can make it zoom in a little. I can make it interact with the user with just a few clicks. Now, again, all this is possible in general. You could hard code CSS, assign it to the image. But like our whole thing is we're still so time oriented and time focused on True Mountain. It's like when we get that design onboarding form, we have less than a week to build a full design. After that, we've got 2 to 3 weeks to build the rest of the site. Like, we don't have time to hard code all the CSS all the time. And we're just looking for solutions that are always smoother, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same functionality, but at a quicker speed and less complicated.
Yeah, and again, it might look complicated for our clients, but at the end of the day, that's what support's here for.
The one cool thing that I really liked, you showed me that website where you were showing the blog, and then at the top it was like the scroll timer.
Yeah, the read time.
Yeah, the read time. So like as you scrolled through the blog, there was like a loading bar. So the closer you got to the end of the blog, it went to like 100% full. And like when you're 50% through, it kind of just, it was a really cool feature I've never seen.
Yeah, I've seen it on some like really higher end news sites and stuff sometimes, or some small like tech blogs. It's just small little features, and this is a built-in thing with Brix. It's just one of their modules. So I didn't need another plugin on a website because like we're trying to lower how many plugins we have as minimal as possible. And we're just increasing the interactions that are happening. So it's not just this static load and read and sitting around.
But that's a perfect example of like such a high functioning, complex feature to put into a website on a different builder, it's now just like one click and we have something that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how it goes. We've only done a few sites with it. I got myself pretty familiar with it these last 2 weeks. I've been using it like very actively at like a bare bones level before we add a bunch of third party things on. And it's been cool. I'm enjoying it. And it's similar. Everything, all these page builders nowadays are all similar. It's rows and columns and box modules. Birks just calls them sections, containers, and then blocks. It's just like it's like learning literally a different language, but
Yeah,
it's the
it is.
same thing. Like red, Roja. I think those are the same. So it's like two different languages, same concept. But it's been fun just kind of like figuring out where to click things again. But now that I know where to click things, it's like the chain has been released. Like it's so
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah, I guess on our next podcast, we'll just like kind of touch base on what happened from now till then. Like summarize it. We got this huge new client, multi-location. So it's pretty easy for us to manage multiple locations, have one point of contact on your end, make it super easy. We're exploring the line of golf goods for fun, making it for us, soon to be offering it to clients. And then we're working with a different page builder and just exploring new things.
Yep. So we'll kind of keep you guys updated. Where are we at? Like 41 minutes, probably tied up. If you made it this far, reach out to us if you want a website and you made it this far into the podcast. Tell me you made it this far. We'll give you 50% off your setup fee just because you listened this long.
Wow,
Pretty cool.
that's big. We had a couple people reach out because they saw our content. I think one of the next things to do is just like hire a clipper where we just have them watch our podcast, clip it up, and post for us. Just because we're so busy in the day to day right now.
We'll cap it at 2 people. So if you're fast on your toes and you stuck around for 40 minutes, you might save yourself $1,800. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're listening this long, man. Come on, just pull the trigger, dude. Let's go.
Yep. If you're looking for the right web company, we like building websites.
Yeah. So that's all we got today for Brand Altitude, episode 3, not 2, not 1.5. Episode 3, because that's what Spotify requires. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.